But I often find it's the brilliance of simplicity is often the thing that moves the needle the most. You with me on that?
Her quote that she sent the other day.
Yeah. So as you're listening to this today, Kevin Gillespie and I are just sitting here kind of catching up, and I just hit the record button. He said, "What are we recording?" I said, "Just go with me on this." So,
Yes, he did.
so so Kevin and I got a text from a very dear friend of ours, one of the leaders in the Freedom Club, somebody that I just adorably admire. Is that a good word? Is that a good phrase?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I just love this lady. Her name is Tammy Saul. She's out of Baltimore. She's a broker up there, runs her own store. Very successful. Um, she'll close anywhere from 50 to 80 loans, sometimes more. Um, and she sent Kevin and I a text the other day. You get because you were on this text too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, it came unsolicited. Like she just
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, we were like yeah, and we text, Tammy and I will text each other, I don't know, once a week, once every other week, sometimes
Same
twice,
here.
twice a week, like whatever, but fairly often. And so this was complete new topic, new thread. And it was just a mic drop moment. And I thought, let's break this one down. So I'll read the text. The 3 steps to achieve a great dream. And and she's done that for sure.
Far, yes.
Yeah. 3 steps to achieve a great dream. Step one, first, you have to imagine it's possible. Step two, then you must believe you can. Step three, then you just have to take constant and consistent action with integrity towards the dream imagined.
That makes perfect sense.
Let's break this down a little bit. So first, you have to imagine it's possible. So I think the key point I got out of that one, Kevin, is I have to believe somebody can do it. Like that it can be
Absolutely.
done. Yeah.
Right. Makes perfect sense.
And depending upon who you hang out with, I think if you're hanging out with like really high level people, which you and I put great effort to do that, you see it happening. And if you see it happening, you go, well, it must be possible because I'm seeing it happening.
Yeah, if they can do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Well, that was step two. Well, if they can do it, it's possible.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
seeing them people are people. It's not like they have to be 100 to be doing it 100 times smarter or better, but they're doing it.
All right. So let's come back to that. So characteristics of the winners. Of the winners. All right. So let me just write that down. All right. So once I see you doing it, I know it's now possible. Which is a funny thing, Kevin. Steve and I talked about this on an episode not too long ago. I always get a kick. I don't know if get a kick or maybe, I don't know, there's another word there. Maybe it's frustrated. I always, and it's somewhat amusing, I always get frustratingly amused when somebody will say, like Tammy, I think last month, and I know I'll get the number wrong, but somewhere between 50 and 60 loans she closed, somewhere in that
Right.
neighborhood. And it might have been 70,
I
but
think that she and I think it was 59 loans.
59 loans. All right. So if she would, if she was to, she's a very humble person for the greatness that she has. She's a very humble person. If she was to post that number, 95% of the people, nah, no way.
Yeah.
And then there's that five wonderful percent said, girlfriend, how'd you do that? But isn't it funny how It's a small mind. Do you find that, or is it just, am I just being
No,
cynical?
I was reading something this morning and it made perfect sense. And the realization, and I was thinking about our call reluctance boot camp we're doing right now. And what this person said is they've realized that the only thing that holds people back, that keeps them from getting that,
Yes.
is their fear of success, their
Mm.
their doubts and fears. So what you're talking about is the 95% of the people are operating from that kind of state. And it's not the lack of action, it's the fear of what if I fail, the fear of the success that keeps me from doing it. Because if I could overcome that, I have a much better chance of creating the dream and taking the action, is what I took from that.
I wonder what percentage. I wonder what percentage. Um, like if I knew I had an 80% chance of success rate, but a 20% chance of failure. I'm getting ready to go speak to the Realtors Association, and I got an 80% chance of knocking out of the park, and I got a 20% chance of getting pie in the face.
Yeah.
Where do you think that percentage of pie in the face becomes the roadblock for it happening?
It's right around, I believe, and there's no scientific proof to this, but you've seen it. You and I've done it together. When we have an audience, we're talking about call reluctance. We do the deal of, what if you had $100,000 to invest, and this thing, man, if it goes, it's going to go big, but there's a 50% chance loss, nobody will do it, right? If it's a 70%, you start to get to 80, you start getting more people. Okay, if I got an 80%, but once you get to 90% plus, then almost the whole audience goes, oh, okay, I'll take that bet. I got a
Right.
90%.
Well, so then why is it then? So here you have, like Tammy goes, all right, I closed 59 loans.
Yeah.
The amount of people that will do what she's doing is almost zero.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't it be? So if there's a 90% chance of success, why is that number almost zero that actually takes the action to do those things where they reach out, hey, show me the plan, show me how you did that, tell me who you're targeting, watch me do it and show me how, watch me do it and then tell me what I'm doing wrong, and then I'll go do it. The amount of people that'll actually step at the plate and do something like that is a small minority. Why is that?
My belief is, well, and you're the same way. I'd put you in that same category as a Tammy, right? What you have achieved has just been amazing. But you operate, I believe. I think we got kind of two areas that we operate in, one or the other. It's difficult to be in both. And you operate from a mindset of a powerful state, right? It's formidable. It's an influence of command and in control. But I think majority, and man, I can go there a lot, is from more of a primal state, or a fear based, right? Because the mind is geared to protect us, right? And it will tend to go negative because it doesn't want it means well, right? The whole
Mm-hmm.
the whole design is to protect us, but it doesn't know the difference from these imagined fears versus somebody holding a gun or a lion
A
outside your
bear.
door.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And so I think it's, how do you get people to move to that deal of, I don't have the fear of success, whether it be in losing weight and giving up food, or stopping smoking, or making calls and building a relationship. But it's the fear of failure that it often, I look back at my life, and where I hesitated, it's always that, well, what if? Now,
Mm-hmm.
as you were helping me the other day, Kevin, knock that little guy off your shoulder.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I was able to identify him because I recognize he looks just like mine. So yeah. All
Well,
right.
but if you don't, there's a saying I've kind of adapted. see, because if you just say, well, just go do it, go power through it. Well, if they're in that other kind of mindset,
Mhm.
you know, they're scared. And so when you're telling them to power through it, it's like taking a guy with a broken leg and telling him you're going to throw him down the stairs until he feels better, or the beatings are going to continue until your attitude improves.
Until the morale improves. Right, right. Interesting. All right. So first you have to imagine it's possible. Okay, got that. I see that Tammy's doing it, or I see that you're doing it, or I see that our friend Devin, right? Devin Dubuque, we
Right.
see he's
He's
doing it.
amazing. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love Devin, right? So so we can see they're doing it, but I'm not Tammy, or I'm not Kevin, or I'm not Devin, or insert any number of names, right?
Right.
So now I got to believe, number one, that it can be done now that I can do it. How do you do that?
Uh, I think we got to get them to imagine the goal they want, whatever the success goal is they want.
Yeah.
Right? Then what you almost got to do is find out what's the limiting beliefs. You and I just did that survey of that 100 loan officers we're working with on a project, and it was interesting. Remember, I don't want to be disturbing others. I feel like and sound like I'm too needy. They got this stuff going through their head. I don't want to sound too salesy. I don't like to be rejected. I feel like I'm tap dancing. I'm lacking the confidence. I don't want to be rejected. All those things are keeping them because they got the talent. They got look at all the hundreds of people you've helped. And man, once they understand they got the talents, if we can get them to remove that fear of failure, um, but it's also physical. Remember, they said, I feel tightness in my chest, my heart's beating, my head's spinning. It's a real, that fear, I think, is a real thing because I've experienced it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me, trust me, me too. I think the thing that helps me power through that part and that believing I can, I don't know. I always just kind of play the tape of, well, what's the worst that could happen here? Let's assume it won't work. What's that going to look like? And so I've never jumped out of an airplane because I do the same thing. What's the worst that could happen? Let me play that through. All right, I could bounce. You hit the ground at 120 miles an hour. They say you literally bounce. That's what they call it. Parachute or chute doesn't open up. They call it a bounce. So I thought, all right, well, that's pretty darn bad. So let's not do that. Right. So I never have. When I drive my car, I'm not a fast driver. So
Norma.
all right, what's the worst case scenario? I wrap myself around a tree and or kill somebody else too. And so it's like, all right, so what my car does from 0 to 60 means nothing to me, because I play it safe on the road. In our business, like, what's the worst case scenario? I don't know. I look stupid in front of somebody, like whatever. And with people that I care about, like I can't look stupid in front of you, even if I do something, I don't know, dumb or whatever you want to call it, because you would say, dude, Carl, whoa, 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 hold back there, Trigger. Let me show you something, right? And you're going to show me what I'm missing. Like, oh, dude,
Yeah.
you forgot this, you know. And so I don't know. I never really worried about looking stupid in front of people. I don't know. For some
Well,
reason, that
you got two or three things that kind of triggered as you were saying that to me.
tell me.
One, I've come to believe here in watching you, who I watch a lot, and you're not only one of my best friends, but mentor. And it meant that my mentors who are so successful, when they're in that state of mind, that powerful state, or Tammy, it's more relaxing. For many times I thought, man, that's hard work, but it's almost like it's natural and you're not working. But man, you look back when you're under those stress times, it's because you got to be ready and on the defensive and you're running scared. And I think most people live a good portion of their lives like this. That's an energy drain. Does that make, I don't know that I'm saying it well, Carl, but does that make sense? Because when you're always worried about this and worried about that, and what if I do this? What if I screw up? What if I embarrass myself? That's your mind, man, that's an energy drain. And I came to realize, well, when do most of my problems get solved? Well, when I'm sleeping or I'm in the shower and I'm relaxed. And if you can get to that kind of like you are, you're very relaxed and sincere and authentic. Man, what a great way to live.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. And maybe that's something, I don't know. Cause I'm just thinking like, it's not that I don't care, but I don't care. Like, if I look stupid today, well, you know what? It'd be like, I was listening to a podcast the other day of a comedian, and he was talking about, before he does these national shows, he'll run around the little clubs, and he
Yeah.
said he'll try a new joke. And
Yep.
did they laugh? Yes. All right. I'm gonna put that in with my session I'm gonna be doing on the national tour. Did they laugh? No. All right, try it one more time tomorrow to another group. Did they laugh? No. All right, take that out. That's not gonna be part of my hour show, right? And it's like, well, if it goes bad, they just don't laugh, like whatever. So I always look like, if we do something that goes bad, they're either gonna not gonna refer to me, which I already have that result by not doing anything, or they're not going to do their loan with me, or they're not going to join my team, or whatever that thing is that I'm looking for. It's like, but I already don't have that loan. I already don't have that referral. I already don't have that person on my team. I literally have nothing to lose. And if I trip and fall, which I don't think literally I have, but I figuratively, I certainly have for sure. That
Well,
it's like, I don't know, a day later, hell, nobody remembers anyway, and it's like, whatever. And if I fall flat on my face, I just take that, draw a line through that one. So I won't. I don't tell jokes, but all right, I'm not going to tell that joke anymore. That presentation bombed. I just won't do that one again. I don't know. It just doesn't.
but you're asking yourself powerful questions rather than, oh, what if they laugh at me or I embarrass myself or whatever? Because and really kind of what you and I've talked about before is, they're asking, am I worthy? Am I going to be loved?
Mm,
Right. And if you feel, well, hell, somebody loves me.
mm.
Your wife loves you. Your family loves you.
Brother,
Your friends love you.
you
I love you.
I think you're onto something. Now. See, that makes sense. Because now, if my fear is,
Hold on. I'm writing that down. I made sense today.
man, no, that's very interesting. So if I go to this thing, they might not love me. And if they don't love me, I don't have enough people that love me that my tank is full.
Yeah.
So you know what? You might be onto something there. That
Well, I
might
think
be.
there's so powerful questions, right? What can I control about this? Who loves me? Am I loved? What does this mean? That's what you kind of are asking there. What's the worst that can happen? Right? Well, what's this going to matter in 5 years?
Well,
Kind of
see,
put
but see,
perspective.
I think what you hit upon is the worst fear is they're not going to love me, and nobody else does either,
Yeah.
and so nobody loves me, which is the ultimate human fear.
It's the kids in high school, right? I got to be
Yeah.
accepted kind of thing.
By at least some group. So even if like let's say I was in the nerd group or the stoner group or the cheerleader group or the football group, even if the other three or four don't like me, this group does,
Too.
and I'm good. And so I think
How
you're on
many of
something.
them gravitate towards different groups that aren't necessarily great for them,
But because they
but
love and
because
accept
they
me
feel
there.
loved and accepted? Yeah, I believe
That's
that.
that's very interesting. So you know what I think the secret is, dude? I don't know if this is a profound conversation for me. I don't know if it's coming across to anybody else that way, but this is profound for me because you know what happened. So I feel very comfortable on going quote and looking stupid in front of a group because I know I've got a support group back here, wherever here is.
What we love about our gang.
Yeah. And that if I have a bad day or somebody pokes fun at me in a personal way, I can always call up my brother Kevin, and Kevin's got my back, and I'll say, "Hey, man, Kevin went through this. Carl, they just didn't know you. Yeah, don't worry about them." And or I come home to the lovely Mrs. White, honey, don't, I love you. The kids love you. My friend Steve, I can hang out with him, and Chris and Kristen and Krista, and all these Maz, all these people that we hang out with. Um, I think that's what it is. So you know what I think the secret is, man? I think the secret is hang out with the right people that embrace you, that love on you. Don't have a group of friends or people that you hang out with that throw rocks and trying to one up each other. And when you have a full tank, then you feel more relaxed and comfortable on going out and doing things. Because I'm thinking of Tammy. We're talking about Tammy Saul here, or she's the one that spurred this conversation. Girlfriend's loved by a lot of people, right?
Man,
And
she
just
is absolutely.
just an amazing person, and she knows that even if she was to go somewhere and somebody was to throw rocks at her, so to speak, she can come back to home base, and her home base is good. It's a solid group of friends and people that support her and love her, and they got her back because she's got there. It's just the culture of the group. So I think the bottom
You
line on this one, it
you just
matters
hit
who you're hanging out with. It matters who
it,
you're hanging out with.
that's interesting you say that because on our meeting we had with this group we're working with, we hit, and you were there, we had a bronze medalist from the Olympics come in, 18-year-old girl who won Christina Teach out in Taekwondo. And she was asked the question, well, what do you do when you get knocked out or have a bad match? And she goes, man, I get kicked and punched every match, but if it's a bad one, I go back to my training and my family, and I know I'm going to be okay. I mean, so she basically said exactly what you just said. Does
Hmm.
that make sense?
Yeah,
And
because
so, but then I think it leads to another question. I think it leads to another question because most people haven't experienced it. I mean, you're comfortable doing it because or Tammy does, and we all, but how many people don't take that first step because they're playing the wrong thing in their head and they haven't, it's that fear, right? That I'm afraid it's going to happen, but it hadn't really, it's imagined fears.
but
That,
see, I think again, I think so we all have fear. It just some people it paralyzes, some it doesn't. And I think that I think just after this 10-minute conversation, I have to think about this some more. But I'm going to ponder for the rest of the day here, and maybe on my morning ride, if those that push through it because they have a great support, they have a full tank of love in their work environment, in their fellow loan officers or professionals that they work with, perhaps at home, like one of those, maybe all of them, and maybe one of those, they got a full tank. And the ones that let it paralyze them go, well, if these people don't accept me, nobody does, and I got to have somebody.
yeah.
And I don't know. I have to ponder that because see, that goes into her third part, which was so number one, you have to imagine it's possible. Number two, you have to believe that you can and push through that fear. And number three, you just have to take constant and consistent action with integrity towards the dream imagined. But I feel safer to do that again if my love tank is full.
Well, and I think the way you get your love tank full is from the group, right? Because you learn
Mhm.
how they think. You learn how I'm more a believer in the tactics are important, and we teach a lot of great tactics and strategies. Man, those are important, but it's more about I'm supported in the mindset these
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
have that it's possible. And when you're in that group, hey, there's all sorts of studies on how people follow groups that they hang out with, and when you're in that group, and that's what's so good about our group and the Freedom Club and MMA is, man, you get that right insight rather than your mind running down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this went nowhere near the direction that I thought it was going to. But brother, that's why I love talking with you, man. This is that's very, and some might look at this as woo woo, but dude, this is very interesting conversation. It's a very interesting conversation. So I have to ponder this some more. And this might weave into, because dude, I've been watching you do that. I know you're doing these boot camps, and this last one on crushing call reluctance. Um, boy, put a this would definitely be a part of that overcoming call reluctance, is these kinds of topics. How many week of a series? I know you do it as a series. How many weeks is it?
It's 6 to 7 weeks. Right now we're doing it as 7. I think we could do it in 6, but it takes, because what happens is you get them in and they kind of got to discover their fears and what are they doing.
Mhm.
And we teach, I think in it, and you're right there along with me. They're being coached by you. Is we teach them who to go after and what to say, but more importantly, how to say it
Mhm.
and get out of your head. How do you get out of your head and relax and be authentic? And we also teach them then how to release the fear and change their belief system. And that's what takes a little bit of time, because those beliefs are so ingrained. It's like you chop at the tree and you chop at the tree. And we do that with these beliefs, and we cut at them and we cut, and pretty soon the tree falls over. And at the same time, we're rebuilding new beliefs. And so with this skill set of the things to say, and more importantly, I believe how to say it, and these newfound, we saw it the other day. Carl, remember the girl was at fear of 10, and after walking through the one exercise, she started laughing. She got to a 1. I mean, that took what, 10 minutes? She goes, I can't even believe I've been thinking about it. Marty the other day, she said, oh my God, I can't believe I've been spending this much energy worrying about it. She's now doubled her calls and doubled her number of applications and contracts.
It's it,
It's a fun thing. I love watching. It's my favorite thing to do.
it's like watching a tree grow from a little seed. You see this
Yeah.
big tree, and all of a sudden it bears this wonderful fruit of apples, or in this case, goodness to them and their family. It's a really cool thing. And the other thing about getting rid of call reluctance and learning to push through it, like with crushing call reluctance, is once you tame that beast, it's not just the phone calls, it's the videos, it's the meetings, it's a Zoom meeting, it's teaching classes, it's speaking to a group. So imagine
Yeah.
imagine the difference in your business when you feel comfortable and you push through that fear and do your videos and your phone calls and your face-to-face meetings and your Zoom conversations they have. When you get that brick off your back, it's nothing short of amazing. Hey, if somebody wants to know more about this crushing call reluctance, where do they go to?
www.crushingcallreluctance.com.
Well, that's too easy. So wait, let me make sure I get this right. So if I want to learn about crushing call reluctance, I go to crushingcallreluctance.com.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty darn simple. Well,
It's
brother, and you got another one. You got another one of those starting up.
I think we're going to start building a list, and
Okay,
probably
so
sometime
so soon,
with
so
what's coming
soon.
up, October or so. Yeah.
Wait. So take out the month.
Oh, okay. Yeah. In,
So
in the next 4 or 5 weeks, we will.
we got another one coming up. Cool. So go to crushingcallreluctance.com, and good stuff, man. Boy, this is an interesting topic. So I'm glad Tammy sent it over. It gave me pondering to think of, and now we have tens of thousands of loan officers across the nation going to be pondering this same thing, right? So I don't
Well,
know. It
I
really speaks to me.
we literally see people change, and it's fun. It's not only because you got a great equation. It's your equation is offers minus no's equal money. Well, I've kind of added to the front of that calls less resistance equals more offers. And because
Mm.
then they'll make more calls, they'll do more follow up. They'll most importantly is ask for the business, right? And because all those fears go away. And so anyway, but I tell you what, I feel lucky and blessed to hang out with you today. Thank you. And I'm feeling so lucky. I'll go buy a lottery ticket. It's good.
Well, dude, as long as I get my 10%, I'm good.
You
So I'm
got it,
good. So,
brother.
all right. I love you, man. I
Okay.
appreciate you, buddy.
Love you, man.
All
Appreciate
right.
you.
Kevin Gillespie, thanks for hanging out with us. CrushingCallReluctance.com. Go take a peek inside and see what that looks like. And if you have no issue with call reluctance, perhaps you can forward this to a loan officer that will thank you for giving them information about this. So really cool stuff. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you on CrushingCallReluctance.com. And we'll also talk to you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.